So today we're on a bog in Offaly, and this is a really interesting site. We're going to look at some of the typical bog plants that you might find on a bog near you. Now this particular site is really interesting because a canal was cut through it back in the last century to bring whisky from Kilbeggan to Tullamore, and that canal has filled in now with some fen plants. So we're going to see some of the plants that you'd see on the high bog, and then we're going to look at some fen species as well. So this species here is Bog Myrtle. It grows on the flushed edges of the bog. It's a quite distinct shrub, you easily recognise compared to the other shrubs you'll find. It grows to about 1 metre. The leaves are quite lanceolate, just about a centimetre in length, broader at the tip. And at this time of the year, in May, we find the shrub is covered in these wonderful golden catkins. So the most distinctive feature about bog myrtle is that scent when you crush the leaves in your fingertips, that you get this distinct citrus-like aroma. And this is what gives the plant its insect repellent properties. And also the catkins used to be used to flavour beer in past times until hops became more abundant. So this is another one of our more common bog species. It's called common bog cotton. It likes to have its feet wet, so we find it here in these beautiful wet pools with lots of sphagnum around it. The stem itself is green, and then we see that the leaves are characterised by this V-shaped notch when you look at it in cross-section. And in the winter, the plant recycles the nutrients, so it takes the nutrients from the leaves back into the bulb, and that's what gives the bog that red hue in the wintertime. The flower itself consists of a cluster of 3 or 4 heads of bog cotton, which distinguishes it from the other hare's tail bog cotton, which just has 1 flowering head. So the wool itself used to be used to stuff pillows, but it lacks the more tensile strength of the cotton that's more widely used. So we're down here in a bog pool, and so when we get down here, when we see this plant, Bog Bean, we know to beware because this is really unsteady ground. And this particular plant, it has a thick root that managed to manoeuvre through the dark peat silt, and then it sends up these trifoliate leaves. So they're 3 leaflets. And then in May, it has this spectacular spikelet of star-shaped flowers. And they're really a joy to behold because they're covered in these tiny white filaments. And no one knows quite why they're there other than they're just really, really nice to look at. And it has also therapeutic properties. It has been known to be combined with mint and with yarrow to cure colds and respiratory diseases. So another real gift from the bog. So this is a fen species. It's black bog rush, Schinus nigricans. So it has this tussock form and can grow to about 1 metre high. The green stems are topped by this pack of inflorescence, which is the flowers, and this long bract overhanging. This species itself tells me that it's more richer in this part of the bog. And I have a personal like for this because we find this in the western blanket bogs. And they say that it can grow on the blanket bogs in the west because of the sea spray that brings in minerals from the ocean. So another plant that we find on the bog is Butterworth. This is common Butterworth. So we see here this basal rosette of really sticky leaves. The leaf margins are rolled in, and when an insect lands here, the plant leaves roll even tighter around it, and it secretes an enzyme to digest the insect. The stem of the flower itself is a couple of centimetres long, and the flower is this beautiful purple flower, the upper lip with 2 lobes and the lower lip with 3 lobes. And this plant itself used to be used instead of rennet to curdle cheese, and that was a tradition that was probably introduced to Ireland by the Vikings. So I hope we've inspired you to get out to your local bog and to get to know some of the plants. Peatlands are really important habitats and they're a real treasure trove for plants and animals. So do get out and enjoy, and hopefully it won't be raining.